From the Hotel Indigo on Technology Drive along the Monongahela River just off the campus of the great University of Pittsburgh near the Hot Metal Bridge. Welcome to the award-winning Pat Narduzzi Show. I'm Larry Richard with Panthers Chris Bickle, 97 head coach Pat Narduzzi, right on cue, right up to kickoff. You haven't missed one in 9 seasons, Coach.
Hey, it's game time. You got to be on time.
Well,
it's even a closer drive, but
your special guest, the big senior center, Jake Cradle, was ready just in case. You always
Maybe I should go back out in the parking lot, let Jake take over. Huh?
Next man up.
That's right.
Well, congratulations. Week 1 successful, 45-7 over Wofford. And you had a chance for the first time to see your team in action overall after you get a chance to evaluate all the positions, watching a lot of tape. How did you feel about the opener?
Like I've said all week, I felt really good. Our kids came out and played football the way it's supposed to be. They were dialed in like you want them to be. They weren't off in a different, in fairyland. They were dialed into the game. They had their minds right, okay? And they executed. And like I said, I gave, Wofford, I've watched some 1AA teams through the years. This was a sound football team. They weren't just giving you stuff. They weren't just going to leave guys wide open. And, they were sound and on both sides of the ball. And I was happy with the way we executed. It wasn't easy. You're going for it on fourth down. But, our guys earned it. And you kind of got what you wanted out of that opener for sure.
Yeah, I think they'll certainly win some football games in their conference. And now you turn your attention to 11 straight Power 5 teams. You host Cincinnati on Saturday. We'll talk in detail about your plans for that. But in the meantime, let's go back and evaluate. Everybody wants to know what you think of your quarterback, Phil Jakovic, your super senior, 6'5" Pine Richland state champion at the high school level. Looking for more here. What'd you think?
I loved what Phil did, and I know Coach Signetti and the offense staff did too. I mean, he executed the game plan. He did what we asked him to do. Is he going to make every throw? No quarterback is. Except maybe Kenny Pickett. I don't know. Has he thrown an incomplete pass yet this year?
It's kind of a tall shadow, though. When a number 1 draft pick quarterback,
no
Kenny leaves a tall shadow.
No doubt. But, I thought Phil was really good. I mean, he executed it. He's smooth. I just loved how his composure in the pocket. I just thought he had so much to him that day. You didn't know what he was going to get. He took off and run. He, ran his own read keeper, which we don't do much of, his own read keeps and all that stuff. But, he saw something and he took it.
He fooled everybody but the Panther Pitt on that side when he, sneaked around.
He fooled
right
me.
end.
I'm watching Rodney come up to the middle, and all of a sudden Rodney spins around and doesn't have the ball. I'm like, did he just fumble? Is he spinning around to get the ball or what? He had me fooled because he doesn't pull it. We don't pull the ball that much.
Well, one of the things Doran Dickerson and I noticed from watching on the sidelines is Kenny's comfort in the pocket, as you mentioned, but his ability to go through progressions.
Did you say Kenny?
Phil.
Yeah, you said it. You said Kenny for 5 years.
Yeah.
You're allowed.
Phil.
Phil. Yeah, I'm probably saying it too now.
Yeah, but Phil going through his progressions and looking very comfortable.
No question. I mean, he's calm in the pocket, and I'm excited about what he can do each week here. It's going to be fun to watch.
One of the other big factors is your defense just smothering. You always seem to find a way to reload. A lot of pressure on the quarterback. You got a bunch of sacks, and overall great team effort. I'm sure that's how you evaluated it.
No doubt. I mean, we got 4 sacks. There's only 36 plays run. I mean, 36
when you
plays.
said that Monday, I had to stop.
I've never been in a game where 36 plays. I've held people to less yardage, but 36 plays, that was ridiculous. So.
And then special teams, big factor in every game. I don't think sometimes fans understand that field position, how important that is, especially in really tight football games.
No doubt. Our kickoff team was excellent. Ben Saul's, putting it through the end zone. He can do that all day. I mean, I think he was 75% this year. He could be 100% this year if we let him. There's times when we tell him don't kick it in the end zone. Field goal team was excellent. Our punt team, we got 2 great punts. I was happy with where Junko was last week, and he should have had another one down. I mean, we lost our net punt goal because we put one in the end zone, but we should be down in that thing inside the 5-yard line. So those are little details that we've got to clean up this week.
Yeah, but your guys were there, could have made the play, could have been at the 1. But I'm sure you talked in detail about that too.
We got that fixed. And again, that's those things happen in the openers. And to be honest with you, we did for everybody out there, we do a sky punt drill every Friday or every Thursday. We'll do one tomorrow morning. right after we stretch, and that's the first thing we do is sky punts. But Junko wasn't very good, and the gunners who are their job is to go down and get that ball. We're kind of whining like, "Come on, man!" Like, come on, Junko, put it inside. Like like they're there waiting to do their drill, which is their drill to down it inside the 5. And I kind of told him on Sunday, I said, hey, he did his job on game day, and you guys didn't do it. So you guys can whine, but, it ain't easy
You still
to
got
drop
to
it
be
in
there.
but you got to be there, and you got to finish it off. So Junko did a great job.
When we come back, we're going to talk about the awardees, each win for the Panthers. You have Players of the Week. We'll talk about that when we come back. You're listening to the Pat Narduzzi Show, presented by Dollar Energy Fund on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. New location for this year's Pat Narduzzi Show again. Hotel Indigo, right on Technology Drive, near the Hot Middle Bridge, so it's really handy to the south side and also campus. And you're invited as fans to join us every Wednesday, 6 until 7, except for 1 week when we got a Thursday game. We'll do that on Monday. Meanwhile, Coach, we were kidding you. You came at the last second, but you had good reason. You were just up the hill at Presby Hospital for a very important visit.
Yeah, I went up to go see Mason. I think everybody's heard about the quarterback. I didn't realize he was a safety as well.
Carn City quarterback
up in
Mason
Butler.
Martin, and he collapsed on the field Friday night. And a lot of people reached out and wanted to know how he's doing and his family, because his mom's battling, stage 4 breast cancer, and people want to help.
And they're strong up there. So I, had a nice little visit with the family, and and our team signed a big card for them, a team card after practice today. So I wanted to deliver that with Celeste. But it was a great visit up there with him, and Mom and Dad are thankful. Wanted to make sure they knew, all the Panther fans across the world are praying for the family, because it's a difficult situation right now. But they are strong and positive, and again, couldn't be in better hands with UPMC. So he's got the best doctors around.
Pretty classy of you and your men to do that. And by the way, there is a GoFundMe for the family that friends started. You can just search Mason Martin and help if you can. Let's talk about our weekly awards, Players of the Week. Let's start with special teams. We mentioned, Coach, and you mentioned Ben Sauls. He gets 100% winning grade.
Well, field goals and kickoffs, when they go right where they need to be, it makes everybody else's job easy. He's been outstanding. But Ben Sauls is, is Ben Sauls, and we just hope he has another great game this weekend and 100% in field goals and puts those kickoffs deep.
A lot of pressure on the defensive side. Bengali Kamara was fun to watch.
Yeah, he really was. He was our defensive player of the week with his 4 tackles, a sack, PBU, and he's had an unbelievable camp. He's a different guy right now. He's so much more mature than he was a year ago. Like, he practices like it. He's one of those guys that's become consistent. Last year maybe inconsistent, even in practicing games, and all of a sudden now, first game of the season, he's the player of the game on defense, which I'm not sure if he got one a year ago. So he's physical. He's 235 pounds, and he's playing at a high level, so we're excited about him.
Offensive Player of the Week?
Hey, no surprise, Phil Dracovic with his 214 yards passing and 17 of 23. I mean, you look at his stats, and I don't really look at stats. 17, he threw 6 incomplete passes, and that's pretty darn good with 7 carries for 41 yards. So, Phil played well and makes everybody around him better.
That doesn't happen unless the guys up front are doing their job. Your offensive lineman of the week?
Matt Gonsalves. 56 snaps on offense that he was able to take in, winning grade. He's just left tackle, protecting the quarterback's back, and he's just going to continue to get better every game.
I love that you identify unsung heroes. These are guys that put a lot of effort. And on special teams, it's a guy who just earned a scholarship. That was a special moment for he and his family. And another 100% grade.
No doubt. Nick Lappy, he just plays at a high level all the time. That's what he did last year. Now he's got linebacker snaps this week under his belt as well. So he had 18 plays on special teams. I think he had 10 on defense. So, you can think about that, 18 plays. He had the most plays of anybody on special teams. So he's running down a lot of kickoffs, and he's a special teams guy, unsung hero, special guy.
No doubt fueled by earning that scholarship. Unsung hero on defense.
Yeah, Tyler Bentley, he started off with that first kind of caused fumble on the inside zone, kind of broke through the line of scrimmage and bear hugged that guy, and the ball went on the ground, and Bambrima got the ball. But Tyler played really well and, had a 92% grade, which he's ironically number 92 too. So
And
I don't know if Coach Partridge set that up or not.
your unsung hero on offense?
It was Daniel Carter, 11 carries, 65 yards. Got the start, and one of his big plays was the fumble snap down on the goal line. The defense kind of jumped and Cradle snapped it a little earlier. I think maybe he can answer that for us. But I remember Phil telling me on the sideline, and the ball came out, which we don't do it. I don't know if I've had one all camp with Jake. So he scooped that thing up and got in the end zone.
That was heads-up play. Defensive attack force player of the week.
Yeah, Bam Brema. Bam is really playing well right now. He's playing looser. I think he gets uptight. He's a really smart guy that sometimes maybe thinks too much, but he played well with 2 tackles, a sack, and a fumble recovery, that big fumble recovery we were talking about. So we're excited about what he's going to do the rest of the year.
And your Rocks players of the week, these are the scout team guys. These are the names, in many cases, kind of a window into the future. A lot of times these guys earn positions down the road.
They certainly do. I mean, if they can't play on the Rock team, our scout team, our show team, we got problems. But on special teams, Ibrahim was a guy that really has played well for us, all last year, and he gets that award. On offense, Devin Whitlock, Bell Vernon guy. I'm just sitting in meetings today watching practice, and the coaches are going, man, Devin gives us a great look. He's quick, he's fast, he makes plays, he's fearless. So we're excited about him. And then defensively, Thomas Aiden, who just gives the O-line a good look every week. He just goes. He's got a great motor.
Those are your players of the week as the Panthers rolled against Wofford. And when we come back, our player of the show is Jake Cradle, the Butler native. The Golden Tornado will be joining us. You're listening to the Pat Narduzzi Show presented by Dollar Energy Fund on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. And Panthers head coach Pat Narduzzi welcomes the big center. He is redshirt senior, 305 pounds, 6'3", from Butler, Pennsylvania. Let's hear it for Jake Cradle, the man up front. You know what they say, that, pound for pound, the offensive linemen are the most intuitive and intelligent players on the field. Is that true?
I'd like to think so,
And the smartest one right here.
Well,
Right.
You're going for your MBA at Katz Business School,
Yes,
which
sir.
is very prestigious at the University of Pittsburgh. So we can talk about the future, but for your future right now, it's Saturday night against Cincinnati. But let's dial back for a second. How was that to get out and play against somebody else on Saturday against Wofford?
No, it was great to go out and hit someone else. I mean, I've been going against these 4 interior guys, D linemen we have, and Joels, D Green, Devin Danielson, and who am I forgetting?
Tyler Bentley.
Tyler Bentley, yeah. The 4 guys, I mean, all summer, spring, fall. So it's great to go out and hit someone else and get a nice W.
Yeah, and your defense, I mean, that's a great way to tune up because they're pretty tough up front, too. I'm not telling you anything you don't know.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, DeAndre Jules, that's a guy that I really saw flash all fall, and it showed in the game. I mean, the first play of the game, he forced the quarterback out of the pocket, and Dayon Hayes ran into a sack. So, I mean, it's going to be super exciting to see his, progression throughout the season and see him really make plays and, pick up some of that production from last year.
Dayon, he's like a whirling dervish. That once he gets in the backfield, man, he's got some fired up attitude, and he was fun after the game because he could not wipe that smile off his face.
I'd say that guy, he's awesome. He brings the juice every day in practice. I mean, I know some days he has to slow him down and say, Dayon, just stay away. I mean, because sometimes we have a hard time with him, but that guy, he's going to be fun to watch this season. I'm super excited to see him.
Dayon Hayes representing the house, Westinghouse. I know they're very proud of him. And I know Butler's very excited for you. It's always good you play at this level that you are in front of a home crowd. I'm sure that's been a blast for your whole career. Has it dawned on you yet that this is it? This is the big season for you?
Yeah, no, it's been crazy. 6 years goes fast. I'll tell you. I mean, it was kind of went slow the first couple of years, but these past 2 years have flown by, and it's just great being playing at home. Getting my family and friends to see me come play every game. There's some games where I have to get 80 some tickets just for them to come. Sometimes my mom's just going out there. She's talking to the ticket office trying to get a big group rate because I can't get enough. But it's just great to have the support of my hometown and my friends and family back home.
And your team has been really good and fun to watch and put together 20 wins in the last 2 seasons. Now add another one, but now you kind of turn that page. You're looking forward to Saturday night. What's your personal scouting report on Cincinnati's Bearcats?
I'll tell you, their front seven, they fly around. I mean, number 2, Dante Corleone. I mean, that's a guy that I got to go against every snap. He's gonna be lined up, head up, and preseason All-American, and a really great matchup. So I'm looking forward to it. I've been in the facility all day today. I mean, I went home for a 2-hour nap and then went back at 4 and just came back over here right before this. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm doing everything I can to mentally prepare for it and then be physically ready come Saturday.
The fans, as fans, we see all the skill guys flying around making plays, but at the heart of it, there's a lot that goes on at the center position because you're doing your own reads, right? And that's with talking to your fellow linemen and the quarterback. You all have to be on the same page. So take us through a play. When you walk up to the line, what's going through your mind?
So the first thing I do, I want to, identify the front, 3 down or 4 down, and that'll give us our calls for 3 or 4 down, and I want to find the mic and see.
You point them out.
Yep, Mike's 52, and then from there, if it's, if we're sliding right or left, I'll give them the direction, which guy we're sliding to, and then that tells the running back he has the next 2 guys off my point. So that's how I identify it. And then sometimes we'll look at safety rotation. If we see safety's down, loaded safety, that's where the pressure's going to come to. So
you're doing all this.
I'll look at the safety, but usually I'm just IDing the mic and telling them which way we're going, and then if I see the rotation, then I can, redirect the slide to that side.
So when you see Jake pointing and he's calling out the mic, who's the mic? Tell us what they do.
The defense?
The line, yeah.
The line.
Why are you pointing him out?
So they know, hey, that's the middle of 3, and then if I take my ID to the Will, then the back knows he is the mic to the Sam.
I love this kind of talk, don't you guys? That's good stuff. So as you prepare for this game Saturday night, playing at home, I want to give the Panther Pit a shout out. You guys see this. From the time they opened the gates 2 hours prior to kickoff, they were literally running to get into that north end zone. You guys recognize that,
yeah, I'll
don't
tell you, they were great. I mean, we went out there, I think, in warm-ups, and it was packed the whole way up, and it's just great to see the students really support us. I mean, it brings an extra, some juice for us, just seeing a packed house, and, I'm looking forward to Saturday, see what they got.
When we come back, we'll have more with Jake Cradle. Let's hear it for Jake. He is also a budding podcast star, so we'll give you a little love for that, too. You're listening to the Pat Narduzzi Show presented by Dollar Energy Fund on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. From the Hotel Indigo again on Technology Drive. That's along the Mon River. The great history of steel making is part of the culture here. In fact, on the south side, just across the river, J&L Steel, and a lot of people, a lot of history, and so they've incorporated that. And if you haven't been, it's a little jewel here at the Hotel Indigo. And we're inside with Coach Pat Narduzzi and special guest, redshirt senior Jake Cradle, the center. Coach, the 3 of us were talking during the break about, and you brought up a great point, is after you come off the field on offense, you guys go into a meeting on the sideline. So you're locked in with Coach Borbley, your line coach, and what are you guys talking about?
Yeah, so Coach Borbs, he radios up to the guys in the box, and they, send down every play we ran. So he'll write it down, and then he'll be like, all right, we'll go through the first one, we'll say, what front they have. He'll ask us or the guys up in the press box, and then we'll just go over it, be like, okay, were we good? And then just go through any problems we had and how, if we had a problem with it, what the run solution would be or protection solution would be, and then we'll just fix it, for the next drive.
It was fun to watch your backs. Daniel Carter, obviously that scoop and score. Rodney Hammond ran hard, and Seabold Flemister, you got to look at some young talent too on receivers making plays. But you don't get to watch them when you're doing what you're doing, right?
Right. I mean, it was great to see all those young guys really perform. I mean, all camp we've been seeing it. The 4 freshman wide receivers, they've been balling out, and then all the running backs. We've been having 5 different running backs. It feels like getting carries, and it's just great to see everyone really buying into the team culture. And it's not about me; it's all about we. So I mean, I think that's really it's going to take us to the next level, having that buy-in.
And when Phil Jacobic's day was done, Christian Veer came in. And he ended up throwing a touchdown. And tell us why the entire team wanted to run out on the field on that TD.
I'll tell you, because, I mean, you see Jake McConaughey work his tail off for the past 4 years he's been here. I mean, it's been great to see his progression each year. And then, he earns a scholarship at the end of camp and then goes out there and makes a play like that. I mean, it was all that hard work for those 3 or 4 years, ran to that moment. So it was just great to see that, and the whole team was super excited to see him really succeed.
I love to see the team respond to him like that. And he had a second year there, Coach. I mean, he kicked it in and zipped down that sideline.
He's fast. And it's funny, every scrimmage we got into at the end, he somehow find a way to score a touchdown.
He would.
Correct?
He would.
I mean, maybe late in the game he'd cut that 1-2 minute post.
Right down, yeah.
I mean, he's always finding near the end of the game he's going to find a way to score a touchdown.
By the way, while we're talking about Christian, he got some snaps, got a chance to get a feel. How did you evaluate, even though he didn't have, it's a small sample size, but yet he got in there and got a TD.
No doubt. He went and operated the offense, and it's good to get your backup quarterback, reps, in the opener because you never know when you're going to need them. But he did a really good job, and he'll just keep getting better.
It was fun to watch, and we promised I want to make sure people know about your podcast. So Jake Cradle's got his own gig too.
Yep. So me and Gavin, we started a podcast with Post-Gazette.
Gavin Bartholomew,
Yep.
big tight end.
Yes, sir. So it's
A
Jake.
character.
Right. He's a character. Jake and Gavin. It's Jake and Gavin in the trenches, talking football. So I mean, it's great. We talk everything Pitt football, talk about ourselves personally, and we'll bring on a guest each week, a player of the week. So tonight we're going to record Matt Gonzalez. He's going to be on with us, and it's going to air tomorrow morning, every Thursday morning. So super excited for that.
Matt, one of your captains, I saw his parents there, and they did a highlight of his mom up on the big screen during the game, which was cool. So I had a chance to go over and see his folks. They were so excited, so proud of him. So we'll look forward to that. Where can they find it?
It's going to be on the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, any of their outlets, I think Twitter, Instagram, or YouTube. So you can find it mainly on YouTube, but I think we're going to share it on Twitter and Instagram.
So we always like to look beyond football. I know you're focused on playing this year, but obviously with your business side, eventually, what do you hope to do?
That's a great question. I mean, I have a degree in finance, and I'm getting my MBA. I should get it this end of the fall or maybe in the spring, depending on credits. But I'm super excited. Kind of want me to do some finance but I truly have no idea. I just want to see where football takes me, and then when that day comes, I'll be ready.
We have a great legacy here at the University of Pittsburgh on the offensive line. You
do.
talk to guys like Jimbo Covert, and there's been a tradition of great linemen here.
We have. I mean, it's been crazy. Just in my time here with Jimmy Morrissey, Carter Warren, Gabe Hoy getting a chance this past year. It's been great to see those guys succeed. But like you said, guys like Jimbo, Russ Grimm, Mark May, Stepnowski, all those guys. I mean, it's just been great to see that legacy, get.
How about Brian O'Neill?
Brian O'Neill.
He's doing all right.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean,
maybe he could use some financial advice too down the road.
Truly.
just a thought. And before we let you go, Jake, how do you relax? What do you do? I mean, since you're a hometown guy, you knew the Berg, so it wasn't about being familiar with the area. But now in your 6th year, what do you guys do to relax? Because you can't be on 100% all the time.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, we just hang out. I mean, we go golfing a lot. That's our big thing. In the summer we went 2-3 times a week, just different courses throughout the area. Went out a couple of times with Coach Dew's son. So I mean, it's just great to get out and just hang out with each other and blow those bonds off the field.
And I want people to know you were a star basketball player too, lacrosse and track and field. What'd you do? The high jump?
No. just through shot put. I mean, I was all right at it.
I could see shot put.
Yep. So and then basketball, I truly wish I would have played longer. I only played up until my 10th grade year, but after I left, they went on and won the WPO and went on a state run, but. I missed that, but I think I was down here early when I early enrolled, so I'm glad I did that.
Well, Jake, appreciate your time. We know you're busy. You got to get to your podcast with Gavin Bartholomew, but let's hear it for Jake Cradle, big center, redshirt senior. Good luck against Cincinnati.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
And when we come back, we'll have the scouting report from Pat Bostic coming up next. You're listening to the Pat Narduzzi Show, presented by Dollar Energy Fund on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. And Coach Narduzzi welcomes Pat Bostic, former Pitt quarterback. He is the Senior Associate Athletic Director of Major Gifts, and I call him an offensive savant. You may call him something else, Coach.
I know nothing about defense.
Baloney, you don't.
Hey, before we get into Cincinnati, and there's a lot to get into, we were just talking about the shocker Monday night when Duke upset Clemson. What happened there, Pat?
Duke played well. Riley Leonard is a good player, and it was openers are weird. You know, Clemson kind of an awkward offensive night with a couple fumbles in the red zone, and I think Coach Ucko's done a good job at Duke. It's an interesting time in the ACC. Carolina looked good, beat South Carolina. Florida State beat LSU. So all this realignment talk, the ACC looked pretty strong overall.
They do. And let's talk about Cincinnati. It's been 12 years since these two teams have played. There's a longer history, but that's pretty irrelevant at this stage of the game. They have a new coach, but you know him, Scott Satterfield from Louisville, gets in. They roll up on Eastern Kentucky 66-13. One of the big keys, this quarterback, Emory Jones, who transferred, he had, I think, 7 touchdowns in that game.
Accounted for 7, yeah.
Yeah, 4. So he was the offensive player in their conference for the Big 12 for the week. Let's talk about the quarterback, Mr. Quarterback.
Yeah, he's got a live arm. You know, he can move. I think you said he's not quite as mobile as Malik. I probably agree with that. They don't look like they do as much design run with him. Likes to scramble more than that, but he's got a whip on him, and he's got plenty of people to throw it to. I think they've got 8 transfers to start in their starting 11 on offense. 4 of them are wideouts, and they're talented. You know, players that Pitt's played against. The Smith kid from Louisville, Wiggins. Henderson was a hot commodity in the portal, who they like to throw deep shots to. So they're going to drop back and try to fling it. They just have to hold up front, and that'll be the battle. Is can the Panthers get to the quarterback, and how's he deal with a little bit more pressure this week?
Another dual threat. And Coach Narduzzi, there has not been a more difficult time, in my opinion, just observing in terms of week to week in college football because of the transitions that occur. And so you have to look at where all these individual players came from to analyze them and then look at them as a unit. You don't have a large sample size, but they look pretty formidable.
No doubt about it. I mean, it's hard taking all these guys. And the nice thing is at least we have a game on these. You can watch, Xavier Henderson, the wideout, number 8. He's the guy that stands out to me on tape. He can really go, transfer from Florida. So you kind of do your homework. We've got some guys on our team from Florida. So you kind of find out who these guys are and how legitimately fast they are, just so you can get the right matchup.
Same thing with their head coach. Now, he has a history that you can go back and look. So you do go back and kind of follow his career and see what his tendencies are, too, as a coach.
No doubt about it. I mean, our breakdown consists of, the game last weekend against Eastern Kentucky, but it consists of all Louisville games, including, 2 games against us, just to see what he does, what are they doing different, and just kind of putting, you've got to practice a bunch of plays, and you might as well work what he's done through his career there at Louisville, into Cincinnati.
And with that, Mr. Bostic, so how do you size this game up? I know the experts have the Panthers favored at home, but this time of the year, who knows exactly what's going to transpire. And, Coach, you've always said the biggest improvements come from week 1 to week 2, so your team's working on a lot. Now the competition gets a lot stiffer. So, Pat, how do you evaluate Cincinnati overall?
I mean, they're talented, and I think they're talented in the front on defense. There's a lot of carryover from Louisville on defense. You can see that 3-4. They play a lot of cover 1, press their corners up. They'll play a little bit of 3 deep. It's just hard to tell. Both teams played FCS schools, so they're running by guys. How fast are their guys? How fast are our guys? So certainly you're preparing for a team that is confident coming off of a big offensive output. I think defensively, they trust the Godfather inside who's going to go against Jake, as they call him. And, it was interesting. I thought Eastern Kentucky ran the ball a little bit better against them than I anticipated. They popped some runs against them, which, as I watched that film, I thought, they're popping runs against them, but they're going to fix that, right? Everyone's going to make adjustments from week 1 to week 2, both schematically and otherwise. So it's unknown at this point, especially with the transfer game. I mean, 8 guys on offense. Did they hold anything back last week? Who knows? That's why you got to be really good at what you do and trust your fundamentals.
Yeah, when I saw Deion Sanders, he transferred in about 400 guys.
He keeps receipts too. So it's,
I mean, that's how do you keep track of all this stuff?
It'll even itself out over a couple weeks. You start playing ball, but now you don't know what you're going to get on Saturday night, and you try to do the best homework you can, and then, when the test comes, you got to be able to adapt.
So the more you see, Coach, as you go through the season, obviously there's a lot more to evaluate, but it is kind of tough.
It's really tough because it's not like they had to, pull out different plays and formations and different runs and passes. They could do what they wanted to do last Saturday. So I'm sure they've got some stuff they held back.
We're with Pat Bostic. This is the Pat Narduzzi Show. When we come back, want to get your take on some of the individuals you saw at Acrisure Stadium on Saturday. Bob Means, fastest guy on the field on Saturday.
I don't know. Chell looked pretty fast, too, on that reverse.
But the actual numbers, I saw Bob Means.
22 miles per
22 miles an hour.
For the ball fill through, he needed to run about 23 and a half. So we got to connect on that one.
You're listening to the Pat Narduzzi Show presented by Dollar Energy Fund on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. Nothing like the start of college football season over the weekend. Labor Day weekend, Pitt over Wofford 45-7 to open it up this Saturday at 6:30. By the way, we're on the air at 4:30 with the Pitt Radio Network. Bill Hillgrove, that was nice. They gave Bill a shout-out at the game for his 50th season. Let's hear it for Bill Hillgrove as the play-by-play voice of the Panthers. He's forgotten more than most people ever know about Pitt football. And Pat Bostic, Coach Narduzzi's special weekly guest. I'm always curious, Pat, because I value your time and effort that you put into following the team. So what is your evaluation of what you saw on the field Saturday?
I thought it was what was supposed to happen. So I thought it was pretty clean. A couple things here and there. Obviously, I thought Phil was as advertised in terms of running and extending plays. And I thought the touchdown to Carter was, if you really watch that, it's a heck of a play. It's to have a guy basically stiff arming a D lineman and throw it back shoulder to a tight end in the end zone. You're going to need to make that play at some point in a critical moment. And I'm not sure that was available to this team a year ago. And it's no offense to anybody else, but he does that very well. And defensively, it was, aside from one play, it was pretty suffocating. I think I jinxed it when I said that they had more penalty yards than total yards.
Oh, it was definitely your fault.
Yeah, it was 63 penalty yards at one point, and I said it, and then they threw a touchdown pass, and I said, there goes my stat. So, thanks.
So, individually, who were some of your standouts?
Bengali Kamara, I think, is poised to have a really good year. And we've seen that with linebackers at Pitt. Phil Campbell was a guy that was a late bloomer, moved positions. I think Bengali's played a lot, but has a chance to really be featured in this defense. And not only what he can do, in the run game, but switch it inside and out and being able to blitz. I struggle to think of a back that can block him or a tight end. So it'll be very interesting to see him both on normal downs but also on third downs. I thought Phil played great. I thought DeAndre Jules was, again, lived up to the preseason hype. And didn't take him long to see that big number 0 unblocked in the backfield.
You had a great line.
I said it's a big goose egg. Yeah, it's a big goose egg.
Just got hit by a big
again.
Yeah.
he was a force.
Yeah, he can be a force. But there's a lot of guys that can play, so he's fresh when he goes in. It's not like he has to go out there and play 40, 50 snaps. I also thought the game felt like it went faster, too, with this.
Did you? I didn't think
I thought it went faster.
Little bit.
I would like not to have a review on the first offensive play of the game, but
that was
other than that, I thought. On the stats, it was a 3-hour game. I don't know how many 3-hour games we had last year.
Fans that don't know, the change in college football is normally after a team achieves a first down, they stop the clock till they reset the sticks, which over time, can add up. But that doesn't happen until the last 2 minutes of each half.
Yep.
So in this case, you referred to it. It sped up the game a little bit.
I thought. Again, it'll be everyone's going to get used to it. But no, I thought it was a clean performance aside from a couple things here and there, and it's what you want to see in an opener.
And when you move from one level of competition to another, it probably doesn't take long to realize this is not the same team we just played.
No, but you see that in practice every week when you're playing against your own guys. So I think, Pitt offense is fortunate to have a very good defense. They play against, day in and day out throughout training camp. I think defensively, that's probably the biggest adjustment is Pitt's offense is somewhat unique in college football, and that it's not quite as spread out and up-tempo all the time as what you'll see. But You're used to that competition, so this is kind of level par, and you want to go out there and exert your will. That's the reality. That's your goal, and Cincinnati's the type of team on national television you want to play against. That's why you come to Pitt.
By the way, the game is on the CW nationally, and you have an opportunity to listen to the radio network. We're also up in the sky on Sirius XM2, which we have a lot of Pitt fans around the country that love to tune in and hear Bill Hillgrove's voice and yours, along with Doran Dickerson and Kel Berger. So how do you evaluate this matchup with this team?
It's going to be a great game, Larry.
I try to put him on the spot for you,
honestly,
Coach.
I think it's a really good match. You got a team that's been in the playoff. It's been a top 25 team for the past however many years. Coach Fickle did a great job. A lot of turnover on that roster, and you've got a Pitt team that's obviously trended up the last 2 years. It's two former Big East programs that are familiar with one another, cities that are similar. I think the storylines are everywhere. It's going to be a physical, kind of slobber knocker type of game. So I'm looking forward to it. I played in plenty of those River City rivalries, if you want to call it that. And all I know is they were physical. They usually meant something when it came to the Big East. And this game certainly means something for both teams as they, get into conference play here in a couple weeks.
And, Coach, you talked about that this week, about the similar attitudes of the two cities, too.
Right. I mean, Cincinnati's the same type. Those kids all have an attitude that they'll play with. They'll play with toughness. And, coaching there for 3 years, I just know what kind of kid they're recruiting. There are a lot of Ohio kids there. Obviously, they go down south as well. But they've got kids that believe they're tough and feel like they were under recruited going to Cincinnati compared to Ohio State, and they will play with a lot of grit to them. I guarantee you that.
And Pat, you're also really involved in the process with Chris Bickle, the 412 Alliance. Want to give that a shout out because that's really been a key component to help this team with the name, image, and likeness deal that they put together for the entire squad.
Yeah, he's helped us, and he's helped the university in a lot of ways, and that is the newest way he's done it. But it's evident every day when you walk the facility, certainly the financial support that he's put into the program and how the facility's transformed, and other donors have helped us with. And then obviously NIL is critical, and I think for Coach and for us here at Pitt, it's about making sure that our student athletes are competitively taken care of so that they're not seeking to go elsewhere. They're happy here, and now they're happier here.
Yeah, it's important to navigate that landscape. You don't make the rules, but you got to live by them, so figuring it out and being really good at doing it.
Give them opportunities, and that's what they've done.
412alliance.com. All fans can participate.
Alliance 412.
Alliance
everyone
412.
Gets that backwards. It's hilarious how everyone does it. But either way, I think you'll find it if you Google it. So you can some chat bot, chat PGT or GPT. I always say PGT because of our guy. Shout out to PGT. I think it's GPT. But you can find it. And,
all right, alliance412.com.
There you go, Larry.
And
I know you're a stickler for the details. So
I am. I got to
sure.
be. That's how I'm judged.
You're right.
All right, let's hear it for Pat Bostic. Pat, we'll see you in the booth on Saturday at Acrisure Stadium. When we come back, final thoughts with Coach Narduzzi, presented by Dollar Energy Fund on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. Final thoughts with head coach Pat Narduzzi as the Panthers get ready to face Cincinnati, 6:30 Saturday at Acrisure Stadium. Coach, before that, we just want to wish Amanda Siley King a happy birthday. It's a big day for Amanda.
Hey, happy birthday.
She's not only a great team member of ours, she works with the university and does a lot of volleyball, and she's immersed. So how you feeling as you get ready for week 2?
I think it's going to be a heck of a game. Cincinnati, brings a talented football team in here. It'll be a great challenge for us and find out where we are again, week 2. I think they're talented.
Join us, Rockin' on Rooney, 2 hours before kickoff. The gates open 3 hours. You'll be able to be outside and come down to Acrisure Stadium on the North Shore. Let's hear it for head coach Pat Narduzzi. Good luck against the Bearcats.
Appreciate it, Larry. We'll see everybody out there. Hey, and come here next week for a burger. This burger's unbelievable. The food here is incredible.
We want to thank the Indigo Hotel for their hospitality. It's been great. Special thanks to PJ Kamanchik, Josh Urish back at Master Control, EJ Borghetti, and the entire Pitt team. You've been listening to the Pat Narduzzi Show, presented by Dollar Energy Fund on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network.